Prologue. The escape. The storm arrived with a fury. The castle walls groaned beneath its violent wind, and the great halls of Solomon Arcane's stronghold filled with the sound of hurried footsteps and frantic whispers. In the midst of the chaos, a figure cloaked in shadow moved swiftly through the corridors, the cloak pulled low over his face, hiding his identity from those who might look too closely. Albanor's heart pounded in his chest, the weight of the decision pressing down on him with every step. He fled not alone. In his arms, a bundle swathed in linen shifted, the quiet cries of a newborn breaking through the air for just a moment. But Albanor didn't pause, didn't flinch. He knew what he needed to do. Outside the castle, the night had become a war zone of its own. The torches lining the ramparts flickered in the storm's wake, their light barely enough to cast shadows on the frantic movements of guards. The air thick with tension, the kingdom in unprecedented turmoil, and Albanor knew what had happened. King Solomon was dead. His old friend, the one who ruled for over half a century, a man beloved by the people, struck down in the throne room. No one knew the exact details, only of the king's assassination. The news spread like wildfire, causing the kingdom to tear itself apart. The soldiers, already searching, scrambled through the halls of the castle in confusion, urgency, and anger, looking for something, someone. Albanor's hand tightened around the bundle he held, the tiny form shifting once more, unaware of the kingdom's fall. He had known this day would come, but the reality of it hit him like a blow to the chest. His king, his friend, had entrusted him with the child's safety, and now he would fulfill that oath. But there would be no goodbyes, no farewell to the man who ruled for over 50 years, no time for such things. The clamor of the soldiers grew louder as they rushed down the hallways, their footsteps ringing against the stone floors. Their voices echoed in the dark corridors, a cacophony of panic and confusion. They looked for him everywhere. Albanor moved faster, glancing over his shoulder, his pulse quickening. He had no time to think. The child in his arms stirred once more, and Albanor soothed the baby with a quiet murmur, trying to calm both the child and himself. The kingdom burned, but all that mattered now was the survival of the heir. This baby, the true heir to the throne, had to be kept hidden. Albanor reached the edge of the castle, where the storm howled against the stone walls. The guards had not yet noticed him, but it was only a matter of time. The castle's main gates were too obvious, too dangerous. He needed to move fast. Without hesitation, Albanor darted to a side exit, a narrow balcony overlooking the city below. The rain lashed against his face as he crouched low, and then, with a fluid movement, he scaled the stone balustrade and leaped for the roof. His limbs were bent in unnatural angles as he clung to the stone, his body working with the ferocity of instinct. The storm's winds whipped at him, but he moved with practiced speed, his movements sure and precise, like a predator accustomed to scaling heights. He ran across the rooftops, avoiding the torches flickering below, his silhouette barely visible against the black sky. The castle's stone walls gave way to the haphazard architecture of the city, and Albanor's eyes darted across the roofs, calculating his route. He had escaped the castle's immediate defenses, but the soldiers were still scouring the streets below. The chaos of the city filled the air with panic. Albanor could hear the distant sounds of shouting, the rumble of boots on cobblestone streets. He reached the edge of the city wall in minutes, the storm raging around him. Before proceeding, he adjusted his grip on the baby. The steep drop to the ground below was nothing for him. With a fluid motion, he swung himself downward, his limbs finding purchase in the wet stone. His body seemed to move as if designed for such feats, his legs spreading wide as he descended, using the unnatural flexibility of his form to grip the stone ledges with a speed that felt almost inhuman. The wind howled louder now, but Albanor's focus remained absolute. His chest heaved as he reached the lower tier of the wall. His muscles, honed by years of survival and secrecy, powered him down, and his feet found the ground with the precision of a man who had escaped death many times before. A final glance over his shoulder told him the soldiers still searched the rooftops. They hadn't seen him, not yet. Albanor pushed off from the stone and ran, his body moving with a seamless rhythm toward the wilderness. No longer confined to the cobbled streets of the city, he veered into the dark, sodden wilds that surrounded the kingdom, his eyes narrowing as he plunged into the undergrowth. The sound of distant voices faded behind him, swallowed by the dense trees and the endless night. The storm raged around him, but the wilderness would hide him now. As Albanor moved deeper into the untamed land, the path forward, familiar. The Cohens, his people, lived within these thick forests, hidden away from the eyes of the kingdom. It would be a long and dangerous journey, but Albanor's body was made for it. He moved with speed and precision, his senses attuned to the night, and every rustle of the wind a familiar whisper. The rain fell harder, but the canopy of trees ahead shielded him from the worst of it. He knew this path well. Eremia lay ahead, far from the chaos of the kingdom, and its isolation was his last hope for the child. Bildrick Arcane, the true heir to the throne, would be kept safe there, hidden until the time was right. Albanor's mind grew sharper, his thoughts cold. The kingdom, now without its king, would fall into disarray. But for now, there was no room for grief. There was only survival. The child's future now lay in his hands, and Albanor would protect him at all costs.